in our plumbing business, we'd met Michael and Karen back in the 1990s, in the early days of the plumbing maintenance business. And we'd help them fixing all sorts of things around their home. Now, they were a professional couple. He was a medical practitioner and Karen was an investor. And they had this magnificent home in one of the more affluent suburbs, in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. The house was surrounded by London plane trees, and they had a swimming pool. They had 2 young kids, a boy and a girl. The sewer pipes ran around the swimming pool, and they were paved over. So they were beautiful pavers. I think they were sandstone, and they kept getting sewer blockages. And the roots from the London plane trees that weren't inside their property but outside. And they were always calling us 2 or 3, sometimes more times a year, to come and cut the roots out of their pipes. And then anyway, they treated us like members of their family. We'd always sit in the kitchen, have a cup of tea afterwards. And they're looking for a solution to stop the roots growing in their pipes. And anyway, I told them about this product that I had called Vaporooter, and they were quite interested, and they did a little bit of research. There wasn't as much stuff on the World Wide Web as what there is now, but Karen did a little bit of research. She was a smart lady, and she engaged us to come and try Vaporooter at her home. Vaporooter is spelled Vaporooter. So the next time they got a blocked drain, and that's what we did, we waited until the next time they got a blocked drain. We went out there, we cleared the blockage, and as part of the setup to see if the pipes were suitable for Vaporooter, we put a camera through the pipe and saw that there were about 10 places that roots were growing in through the pipe joints. Nowhere else. There were no broken pipes or anything like that. It was just roots growing into the pipes every metre or so. And anyway, so we cut out the roots, prepared the sewer line for the Vaporooter application, and that was that for the day. So 6 weeks later, we went back out there and we put Vaporooter, Vaporooter, through the sewer pipes, through a couple of cleaning eyes that we'd set up out in the driveway and near the swimming pool. And we did the job. It's pretty straightforward. They were interested because they are curious people, and they watched us do the job and spotted for us so that if there was some of the Vaporooter foam coming up in their toilet, they'd call out and we'd stop and move our gear from one spot to another. And it's a bit of a process which varies from house to house and depending on how all the pipes are run around the house. So 6 months later, Karen rang me and she said, look, I'm just calling you because we haven't had a blockage since you put Vaporooter in the sewer. Oh, that's good, Karen. Anyway, 11 months went by and we have a system that generates reminders. So we sent her a reminder, and I wasn't sure whether or not she would accept the offer to do it again the second year. But as soon as she got the email, she was straight on the phone and said, yeah, look, Dave, whatever that stuff is, it works. So could you come out and do it again, please? So we made a booking, we went out, we applied it for the second year, and they didn't have a blockage in the second year or the third year or the fourth year or the fifth year. So we did the treatment, I think it was, we started in 2012, and you know, they sold that house in about 2020, and they moved to a property that they had up in the country. So with them leaving the house, the new owners of the house, I'm not sure what they did, but we haven't been back there subsequently to apply Vaporooter or to do anything else to the property. But one of the interesting things to come out of working with Michael and Karen and putting Vaporooter in their sewer, Karen said to me one day, look, I've just been down to see my travel agent, and her name's Deborah. And she said, Deborah lives over in Randwick, and she was telling me, or she was telling Karen, how she had 2 to 3 block drains every year because her house was surrounded by hills weeping fig trees. And funnily enough, they were at the front of her house and the drains are at the back of her house. So stop. So Karen was telling us about Deborah, and she told us how she'd told Deborah how she'd had such success with Vaporooter and really hadn't had a block drain since they put it back in the pipes back in 2013. This was, I think, about 2016. And anyway, she said to me, look, expect a call from our travel agent, Deborah. Anyway, sure enough, a couple of days later, lady rings up and says, oh, hi Dave, my name's Deborah. I'm a friend of Karen's. Karen was telling me about the success that she has had with you putting Vaporooter into the sewers around her house. And I have a similar problem, but I've had plumbers who come out and they want to dig up all the pipes that run under my house, and I don't want to do that. And firstly, I don't want to do it because it would terrorise my entire garden, and I love my garden. And they quoted me, I think she said, $25,000 to do the job, which involved a partial renovation of the bathroom at that time. Anyway, I said, well, why don't you just wait till you get another block drain and we'll come out and give it a go. So we'll start from scratch, come out and give it a go. Anyway, 2 weeks later, phone rings, surprise, it's Deborah. Anyway, so we teed up a time to go out there, parked out the front of the house under the shade of the hills weeping fig tree, which was massive, and it was in the middle of knocking over her front fence. Just the roots were some of them are like this, and they were pushing over her front fence and causing all sorts of damage to the fences up and down the street on the nature strip at the front of the house. Anyway, so we got set up. The boys cleared her block drain. She had a sewer diagram, which was important because we didn't know where any of the pipes ran. You can easily get them from Sydney Water, or they're a simple attachment to a contract of sale in New South Wales, so pretty easily to get your hands on. We cleared the blockage, cut out the roots. The roots from the fig tree are red, and they're quite easy to tell that they're from that particular type of tree. We put cameras through the pipe, saw that the cause of the blockage was nothing more than roots growing through, let's just say 10 or 15 pipe joints, I don't quite recall, and all the way from the bathroom, which is at the back of the house, around the back of the house, past the kitchen, and down along the side fence to where the sewer discharged into the board's main at the back of her property. Anyway, so we surveyed the sewer, drew a map of it, gave her a quote on a simple contract to apply Vaporooter in 6 weeks' time. So the process is you cut roots today, you wait 6 weeks, come back and apply the product. So that's what we did. Anyway, we sent Deb the contract, and she responded straight away and said, yeah, I've got to try this. So that's what we did. We showed up 6 weeks later. She welcomed us, of course, and was keen to see this, or how this wonderful new product was going to stop the roots in her drain. She was a little bit sceptical because she'd had so many blockages and so many plumbers in the past tell her that the only way she could stop the roots in her drains was to dig up the pipes and renew them. So we put the Vaporooter down the sewer. It may have taken 2 hours, shall we say, from start to finish, cleaned up, put everything away. And she said, so what now? And I said to her, well, we'll see you in 12 months from now, and I'll send you a reminder in 11 months. And Deb said, but what about if I get a blockage between now and then? And I said, well, that's a good question you asked, Deb, because Vaporooter actually comes with a guarantee. She said, what do you mean? And I said, well, if you get a blockage and it's caused by tree roots after we've applied Vaporooter to the sewer, then for 12 months you have a guarantee that if you get a blockage caused by roots, then we come and clear the blockage free of charge. She said, what? I said, yeah. So she was quite excited about all of that, and we made her a little certificate that said just that. And anyway, we didn't see or hear from her for 11 months, which is when we actually sent her a reminder that it was time to do her annual Vaporooter application. And that was back in, I think, 2015. So here we are, well, 10 years later. And it's probably cost her in that time, its price has gone up a little bit over that 10-year period. So it probably cost her between $9 and let's just say between $9,000 and $12,000 to keep the roots out of her sewer. Now, back when we first met her, she was quoted upwards of $20,000 to dig up and renew the sewer pipes around her home. And she didn't have the money then, and I don't know, but I don't even think she's got the money now. But she knows that by paying a simple annual, I suppose you could call it a premium, that she has the roots out of her sewer. She knows she's got a guarantee that if the sewer blocks up, we'll come and fix it free of charge. And she's a pretty happy lady. So it's a nice little story that Michael and Karen could refer us to Deborah, who we still see today. And we did her application in just before Christmas, so in November or December of 2024, and we'll see her towards the end of 2025 where we'll do her next annual application. And you know what? She's super excited that she hasn't had a block drain in that time, because when the drains did block, the sewer would fill up. Her bath, I'm pretty sure it was a bath or shower bath, would fill up with raw sewage, and it was pretty ugly. So she said, thank God I don't have to live with that anymore. So it's a good story, it's a true story, and they're both families are wonderful clients, happy to have as part of our Vaporooter family. And quite honestly, if this or these couple of stories resonate with you, then I invite you to ask me a little bit about Vaporooter. Every circumstance is different, house to house, different houses, different pipes, they run different ways. There are different loads on the sewer within your house. You know, big families, small families, could be block of flats, block of home units. So every situation is different, but we take each situation on its merits. So if this even slightly interests you because you have repeat block drains caused by the roots of the trees in and around your property, then I invite you to call me, and call me on 1800 637 600, or you might even like to check us out at vaporooteraustralia.com.au. And Vaporooter, just to remind you, is spelt Vaporooter. That's Vaporooter. Vaporooteraustralia.com.au. And if you'd like to see a few more case studies or hear a few more little stories about Vaporooter and how we stop tree roots in your sewer pipes, then you might click the subscribe button just below where you are watching this YouTube video. So thank you for listening.